Welcome back to the TBD podcast. Last year, we told y'all that we would deliver on giving you the perfect bracket. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think the tapes have been burned. And I think we did give y'all a perfect one. So y'all are gonna have to go back and look. I'm not sure actually. But we're about to do that again, actually. So what I'll be doing here is sharing a screen and we'll be creating a bracket from the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. We'll just be going down the line. Typically last year, the first rounders took a little bit of time and then we were able to breeze through a little bit more as we got into the round of 32. What we'll do as gentlemen is we'll just be going quickly as far as easy matchups. And then as far as toss-ups, it works out well because we've got three guys, majority rules. All right. If we get 66%, 66%, no matter how much you love the team, sorry, you got voted out. So that's how that's going to roll. So with that being said, anybody else want to make any quick opening remarks? Otherwise, we'll jump into it.
It's the best time of year.
Exactly.
If you voted me president, I'd make it a national holiday for the next 2 days, Thursday, Friday, national holiday every year. Should be off work.
I wish. Thankfully, at least the fun games seem to be a little later in the afternoon in these days, which is good.
In particular, with our Sanford Bulldogs being late at night. Perfect.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, what are we good to just to go forward with our one seeds here?
I think we're gonna give it the thumbs up for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and go one seed.
The one seeds, and also just to preface as well for the audience slash just to have this preface, are we kind of selecting? Keenan said this before, but often if you try to predict the upset, you're gonna often get that wrong as upset elsewhere. So are we trying to get maximum accuracy? Are we going to be picking upsets as well?
We're picking the perfect bracket, so we're going to get it exactly right.
Okay. Gotcha. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. All right. Any two seed big time scares. I think we're probably good to go two seeds as well, but I'm willing to listen if there are any arguments.
Let's see.
No, I don't think
Probably no. I would say no.
Okay. Very good. Now, let's go into the three seeds. Our three seed on this region, the South region, is Illinois. Probably the strongest three seed out of all. I mean, I'm just gonna say that personally. There's an argument to be made for some others. I think Illinois is good in this one.
Yeah, I agreed.
I do think they have the toughest 14 matchup of all. But I do think that they are the best three seed. So
yeah, I've been listening to some people talk. I've actually heard that Oakland is actually a pretty good 14, but I know that's kind of random. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Jump into this one, Baylor versus Colgate.
Yeah, you're not going to vote me otherwise.
I heard in the Patriot League, Colgate's always solid, and somebody that covers the Patriot League said Colgate's worse than they are normally. So I'm sold on it.
Yeah, threes for me. I just the quality of a three versus the season's quality of a 14. It's gonna be. I'm pretty much never gonna be picking a 14.
For the record, I do think somebody in the 1 to 3 seed range will lose. And so I guess in that case we probably should pick it. But with that being said,
absolutely,
we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it though. And we're gonna say, you know what?
We're saying you guys are both pretty confident.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
That a 1 through 3 will lose at least one.
I feel fairly confident with that. Do I feel confident to pick that? Absolutely not.
We got to get the perfect bracket though. So
honestly, I do feel almost 100% confident. Yes. Now, And well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Never mind. Well, I'm also thinking Creighton's way too good. Anybody big Akron fans in here? I'm not.
Well, I've just heard all about the unfortunate Akron shouldn't really even be here, so that's kind of all in my mind.
Yeah. FDU shouldn't even have been there last year when they got the win because the other team they were playing against wasn't eligible yet and actually won the conference tournament. But FDU made it because the other team wasn't eligible. So maybe sometimes this team that shouldn't be there can show up. But
That's
Going
true.
off what you said, Graham, if I'm going to pick an upset, it might be this the Oakland over Kentucky. It just feels like it may be a storm brewing. But to pick that's a whole nother level. But
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the one thing you got with Kentucky, the youth. Also, I've heard some rumors Cal might possibly be out the door this year, and I don't know. Sometimes now that also might not be true, but sometimes that can kind of waver a team a little bit. The one thing I've heard about Oakland is apparently there's this metric of teams playing up to competition. And like when they play good teams, they play up to competition. And at least from what I heard Oakland is very good at playing up to competition. In fact, I heard that they were winning against Illinois in the final 10 minutes at Illinois. And then they lost the game kind of at the end. But that is actually true that they did do that.
yeah,
Oh,
if lost
wow.
by 6 to Ohio State and only lost by 11 to Illinois, it sounds like they were up in that game, and only lost by marginal amount to Michigan State as well. So they show that they can hang with bigger schools.
Yeah.
My thing is,
They played got a lot of good teams this year. So they've had the competition. They haven't been playing scrubs.
here's my thought. Here's my thought. I said this comment about Kentucky. I think we should either fade them or we need to make them go to at least an Elite Eight. We don't need to do the Sweet 16. That's the safe pick. The safe pick is let's just go to the Sweet 16 and have them lose to Marquette. I don't think we should do that.
Yeah. I don't see them losing this game personally. But I think just looking forward, I think that the next game they definitely could lose.
Mathematically speaking, a 1 through 3 will lose.
Mm-hmm.
I
All
don't.
right, so
I
if
don't
we're
like.
doing that,
Yeah.
then
It,
I sorry, go ahead, Keenan.
no, it kind of goes against the whole picking a perfect bracket thing. But if we're going to have them losing in the next round, anyways, it may be a safe let's go for it because we're going to have them losing in the next round.
If we're gonna go ahead and look ahead, I personally, from doing prior, obviously research and just looking at this bracket, I just feel like Texas Tech is just the Big 12 being a gauntlet this year, and them there. I just I don't know something about Texas Tech, and I don't even necessarily think their metrics are off the charts or anything, but I feel like Kentucky when they're playing a decent level of competition, if they don't hit shots, we all know that their defense is bad. And so if they have any sort of struggle in that game, and I think Texas Tech's going to play tough if, obviously if they get past NC State, I could definitely see Texas Tech moving on to the Sweet 16 in that scenario. So therefore, we could go ahead and put Oakland above, like you said, Keenan.
I think. I mean, I'm down. I'm down to pick the crazy Kentucky loss. They've done it before, and we know that teams that have done it before can do it again. It's not like lightning can't strike twice because Purdue has done it many times. So they've lost these double-digit seed matchups. Kentucky's got that thing where they can do it, but they can also not do it. And I mean, again, like they also can go on a crazy run at the end, but Arkansas, we're bad. We're a bad team. Like we're up by 10 at Rupp Arena with 6 minutes to go in the game. If we can just make a couple plays, we win. We just don't make them.
Yeah, no, that's your point. I think with the level, I mean, Oakland's played multiple tourney teams this season, at least 5. I'm reading right here. I'm down to pick this one, honestly.
Agreed.
All right, let's do it. Oakland Golden Grizzlies, man. Let's get them going on.
I love that mask. I love that logo, by the way. Just wanted to add that.
It's legendary. Auburn versus Yale.
Auburn's too good.
Yeah, Auburn should not be a 4 in this tournament. It's honestly one of the worst. I would say one of the worst seedings I can remember in the time that I've followed college basketball. And they are currently top 5 in KenPom as they're number 4 in KenPom as a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's outrageous. And so I'm gonna definitely have them with dub there.
Also, Auburn is one of those teams that when they play somebody bad, they destroy them by about 40. I don't think it'll be a close game.
I just to add to that, Graham, I am not actually kidding. I believe they beat Florida obviously in the SEC tourney, the SEC final. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that game was their first single digit win of the season. And I'm not kidding. Every other game they have won by double digits.
So they either lose or they just destroy people.
They either lose or they win by 10 plus.
And I feel good about this one being a 10 plus. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Bama Charleston.
As much as I don't want to pick Bama, I just feel like they got a pretty great draw. Like Charleston, I just don't think they're ever going to lose to Charleston.
It's going to be a barn burner.
My only thing, here's my actual thing I want to say real quick. My only thing is Charleston was here last year and I think lost by less than 5 to San Diego State, who made the NCAA championship.
Wow. I
don't think they're a lot different.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, I don't think it's going to be an easy win for them. I just think Bama will pull through. What do y'all vote for?
Yeah, tough to predict this one again, and I want to go with Charleston for my own bias, and I actually think they are good enough to pull off the upset. But I do think Alabama is just a juggernaut on offense, and I do think Nate Oates is a good enough coach where he'll get his team up to win, I think, at least one game in the NCAA tournament. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth a look, and I think Charleston is a team that matched up against somebody else could give somebody a run for their money.
Yeah. Another thing for Charleston that goes against them is Charleston doesn't really go against the style of play. So I think they would just try to get up and down the floor with Bama. And by trying to get up and down the floor with Bama, the team that is just more talented wins. And I think Bama's way more talented.
Yeah.
Sadly. Okay. Also, Bama is one of those teams that if they play a good team, they lose. If they play a bad or average team, they destroy them.
Yeah.
Well, lately. Sorry, I know in the beginning of the season they didn't have the best of resumes, but basically when they play a good team, they get most of the time blasted, and when they play a bad team, they blast. And I just feel like Charleston's not very good. I can't say that, but they're just not on the caliber of some of these SEC schools.
Yeah.
Duke, Vermont.
I just don't see anything past Duke there, but could be possible.
Yeah, I don't think Vermont can get the job done.
Vermont's going to do their classic thing, chuck up a bunch of threes, maybe see if they can hope that they can go in. But I think Duke's just so long on the defensive end that they're going to be able to disrupt that. And I feel like I could sadly just see Kyle Filipowski just bullying whoever is in the down low area for Vermont. And then also I could see some possibly poster dunks from guys like Tyrese Proctor and who's that?
McCain.
McCain, Jared McCain. I could just see them just slamming on some of Vermont's guys. And I feel like I would start laughing, but feel a little bad. But
yeah.
All right. So Keenan, I want you to speak to this one specifically. Hank and I have texted back a little bit and forth about it. You see this draw, obviously, and I'll say this: I like it more than some of the 4 seeds. And I know some people probably say, "Well, you shouldn't be greedy. This is the best of the 4 seed matchups." What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think our opinion can be a little skewed based off the last couple games of Kansas, right? And granted, I don't think Kansas has been the Kansas of old this year, but in particular, obviously, his last home structures have not been good for Kansas with Dickinson and I'm blanking on the other guy's name that's out. Yeah. So I do think given Kansas kind of limping in from a mental standpoint, I think it's good for Samford. And I think if Dickinson's back, I think it could hurt, but I don't know what his minutes are going to be and what that looks like for them. So nonetheless, I think out of all the draws, I think this is the best draw for a 13-4, and I think this gives Samford the best chance to win. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's something worth picking, but it's definitely one of those things that gives us an opportunity to win if we go out and play well.
Do you like the draw more than Bama if we would have gotten Bama?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, well, I think I digress on my comment. I think no. I think I would have enjoyed. I think it would have been better for Samford, only from the standpoint that I think Bucky would have gotten our guys up for like a Alabama matchup that like everybody thinks Alabama is like the dogs and Nate
Yeah.
Oates, and he somehow would have gotten our guys fired up to go play that game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I think we maybe just would have matched up a little bit better with
That's what
Alabama.
I'm thinking matchup. Like we
Yeah.
are a team that our best two players are bigs,
Yeah,
and they've got Grant Nelson. Like, and Grant Nelson's a great offensive player.
yeah.
He fouls a lot, and then
He's
he sits, and then people score on them a lot down low.
Yeah, he's a very small big. I feel like a Chora actually would eat him up. I
But
know
the thing is,
that's a pretty confident take, but I am
oh yeah.
serious.
But unfortunately, I don't think they could either Jermaine or Chor could just destroy Dickinson if he can stay on the court.
Yeah.
Dickinson,
No, I think that would be my take here, and it's pretty obvious. But I actually think if both of those guys don't play for Kansas, I think Stanford has a great chance to
oh,
win.
what
I think it
about
would be a really tight
McCullough
game.
only? McCullough only. What do you think? Because what we might actually have is McCullough and a very gimped up Dickinson. That might be
I
true.
feel like Dickinson is hurt. Like I think he'll play, but he's hurt. Like he was doing non-contact practice up until maybe this week. I mean, he hasn't been playing at high speeds or even normal contest, normal competition speed. If it's just McCullough and like you said, an injured Dickinson, man, I think we've got a great chance to win. Seriously.
Because their guys have been terrible. Their other role players, I think, are getting
Yeah,
scared. I think they're getting scared now.
Yeah.
I know, and they have been bad in the season, bad. And obviously, this Kansas team, like Keenan said, is not the Kansas team of old. I mean, I think Kansas had such a great tournament history that it is very easy to be like, man, Kansas. But without those two guys, they are. I mean, you can obviously slap the name Kansas on there, but they are not the same team at all. Without those two guys, I mean, they are not a high seeded like quality team without them. So.
Hmm.
But I guess it's kind of like what do you make the decision based on,
Yeah. With that being said, I I gotta pick the alma mater for at least the first round.
Yes.
You got my vote.
All
Yeah,
right,
me
let's do
too.
it. Let's do it, man. Now, and I also just think like Purdue couldn't have gotten a better draw out of this region. Like if Purdue does not, let's just say this, if Purdue does not make the Elite Eight, they are bad at basketball. They
I
are.
completely. It's such a great draw,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have the best draw out of any 1 or 2 seed, easily.
absolutely.
and
All
I
right.
couldn't be happier about it. That being said, especially for UConn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. All right, what are we up to next fives?
Yeah.
Let's go 5.
5-12s. Any of y'all like big on UAB here?
It's one of those things again that I gotta be careful. I talk so heavily about momentum coming into the postseason, and it can skew my opinion sometimes. In particular, with a team like UAB, you see them coming off winning the American and hot. Uh, I could be skewed to go like, oh, UAB's hot and they're really good, and they didn't really have that great of a year, and they were okay, but they were like not that great, and so it's tough for me to pick them over San Diego State in this scenario, given San Diego State's track record and season that they had, even though it wasn't incredible. I think this overall, they're probably just a more well-rounded team.
Also, Mountain West about 1 trillion times better than the American. So
Absolutely.
I just got to let that be known. They also the Mountain West got hosed in this tournament in terms of seeding. Although San Diego State, I think it's a 5 is fine, but there were some other misseeded teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel good about San Diego State winning this one.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy for me.
All right, St. Mary's Grand Canyon. I know a lot of people like the Antelopes because they went on a long midseason run, but also like St. Mary's is insane this year.
Yeah. This
My thing,
one is
my thing
interesting.
is, I don't. I think if Bama gets the draw of Grand Canyon, they win another game. If they get St. Mary's, I think they lose easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. St. Mary's is a beastly defensive team. Obviously, just beat the Zags to end this season. I mean, I think they're probably as confident as they've ever been entering a tournament. I mean, the
I feel
Gonzaga
good.
just always gets the job done, and they did this year. So
I feel good about St. Mary's in this one.
I actually did too.
I don't. I just think GCU. They don't. I just don't get the level of competition that you need. In my opinion, the WAC I think they're in is just not a very good conference. No
Agreed.
offense. No offense to the Antelopes. What do y'all think about this one? Gonzaga McNeese.
There's a lot of hype around it right now, and a lot of people loving the McNeese train. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Have they played like have they played anybody good this year, McNeese?
Well, I can read you some of their notable games. They did play. They beat VCU at
Okay.
VCU by 11.
That's
Very
impressive.
impressive win, in my opinion.
It's very impressive.
They lost at Western Carolina. Was a solid SoCon team until maybe
Yeah.
midseason.
The,
When
the
when
important the important thing there is the date. That's a November game,
so
which
that
is
was
Yeah,
Western Carolina was
that's true.
great during that time.
yeah, that's exactly right.
They beat a terrible Michigan team at the end of the year. And then after when they entered conference play, they played no one because their conference
And they
is
dominated though.
17-1,
yeah.
which is impressive.
Yeah,
Also,
no doubt.
also let it be known this is like uh, does Gonzaga deserve the 5 seed, by the way? Can I ask that?
To think that Gonzaga is 1 seed lower than Auburn is a disgrace, in my opinion. They cannot be further apart in their level of play, and so yeah, five does not seem applicable for Gonzaga, in my opinion.
My
No,
thing
I would agree.
My
I would
thing
agree.
is watching Gonzaga, like they don't have the guy that's like they don't have the Timmy this year. They don't have the Corey Kispert. They don't have the Joliai, and they don't have uh,
Drugs.
they don't have Suggs. They don't have those go get you a bucket guys. It's like, are they gonna be now? They've got a good big Graham Ike, he's good. But like if he gets into foul trouble and they just start trying to chuck up shots with their guys, Watson tries to start shooting and those guards. I just don't know about their guards. I'll be honest. I just don't know that their guards are that good.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I know
I
it's going.
think I don't know, my big defense of Gonzaga in this spot is just the fact that they've made however many straight Sweet 16s, and obviously I know this team is much different than those, but I really do think that's there's something to that. To me, it's still Mark
They find a
Few.
way.
They find a way to get the job done.
There's
They
something.
actually,
Is there something to winning 30 games?
I think there is. I will also add that, like we just said, their conference. I mean,
True.
not a competitive conference. First off, just want to add that they also. I'm not kidding. Listen on the radio, way on my commute home today. They played some schools that actually are a joke, and I'm not kidding. One of the schools McNeese played to get their 30-win total was Mississippi College of Women. I'm not kidding. They actually played
What?
certain schools such as that. Mississippi
Oh,
College of Women, they have a men's basketball team. I'm not joking.
what
They
is
also
this?
played multiple Christian universities, and they won multiple games by I think in 50 to 60 points. So it's kind of like, okay, obviously started the season, but you have a little bit of an inflated win total in my mind. They're not playing anyone that's really significant. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, I'm cool to pick Gonzaga.
I would vote Gonzaga.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Got a Bulldog on Bulldog matchup in the next round. Wisconsin, James Madison. This is probably the most picked 12 seed out of from what I've heard. And let me first of all say that like I know I'm probably kind of against jumping on the bandwagon, and I think even in my own personal bracket as of right now, I just kind of penciled Wisconsin in based on their tourney success. had the had the Big Ten tournament not existed, I don't know that I could have pressed James Madison quicker
Yeah.
in this situation. And I just don't know how much to take into account conference tourneys. I think you need to take it into account a little bit. Obviously James Madison also won their conference tourney and easily. I think they pretty much easily won it. They're good. They're one of those teams that's just actually good. They're probably underseeded, honestly.
I think James Madison's good, man. If I had to
Yeah.
pick one, it would be this one for me.
Go ahead, Keenan, Big Ten guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure I have a compelling argument other than you just take different teams at different parts of the season and they feel completely different to you. For example, a Western Carolina, when Samford played at Western earlier in the year, was a very scary team. The back half of the season, not so much. And so the same can be said for a team like a Wisconsin that a month ago, not very scary, but they get in a groove. You can't take, again, I made the comment earlier that I can probably weigh too heavy on that and find too much value in that. But I do think that there's something to be said for a team and their core and belief. And I'm telling you, those two guards for Wisconsin and Storm and Chucky are some dogs. And those guys can ball. And they're two guards that can get a bucket. And they both were dropping 30 points night in and night out in the Big Ten tournament. So for me, guard play is killer in the NCAA tournament. And I feel like Wisconsin has two guys who are going to, if one of them's not playing well, the other one is, and it's tough to guard. Now, from a big standpoint, I don't think they're very competitive. So, nonetheless, I still think I vote Wisconsin because I honestly think they actually kind of match up really well with Duke in the second round to knock them off as well if they get there. But I'm open. I think James Madison, if they're playing about any other 5 seed, I'm picking them. So.
Can I say this about AJ Storr? I know he's made some good plays. Like I'm not trying to be rude to him. He does feel like a bit of a shot chucker to me. Like that was been my perception where I'm kind of looking and I'm like I think the last game was like 8 for 24 or something like that. And I was like, I mean, you're getting some big time plays, but you're also missing a lot of shots. I know Dalton Connect does that sometimes too, and so I don't want to be too uniquely sample sized, but do we know his percentage from the field? I mean,
No, I don't. And
also, I guess I'm also thinking like Max Klesmit takes their game winner against Purdue, not Store, not Chucky. Like, yeah, I'm curious on that too. I don't know why that happened.
yeah, I don't know that either. That's fair. So
This year he is 43% from the field.
That's pretty good, actually. It's better than I thought.
yeah, so I'm open. If you both feel James Madison, that's great. I think that's
They're just easily the best 12 seed.
yeah, they are
But then
absolutely.
you have Wisconsin, which is probably like they might be the best 5 seed.
It's like it screws them both over. I feel like they both. I would be willing to pick them both if they both had other teams matched up. Like even more probably than
Honestly though, Keenan, I would just say I'm picking Duke either way, the next one, but that is me personally.
That's great.
I don't know. I don't know about what Hank would be thinking about, but we're at 10 minutes. So let's try to see if we can finish this first round up.
Yeah, I would pick Duke in the next round. So
Great. Let's go, James Madison here.
Are you okay? With that being said, I think Wisconsin's great, Keenan. Not to take away from your Big East or Big Ten conference.
yeah, I agreed. And Keenan, what you said about the two guards, it actually got me kind of fired up about them being some dogs. So just wanted to let you know.
All right, let's see if we can do some of these quickly if there's no contention. Yeah. I think Duquesne's terrible. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, agreed. That one's easy.
BYU's good.
I think New Mexico is actually a 6 and Clemson's actually an 11. So I think this is just a wrong matchup.
I agree on that one too. I think Clemson's been terrible in this.
Are y'all good with New Mexico?
Yep.
Okay, we'll talk about them later if we need to. Yeah. I don't know. I don't care on this one. Like y'all can tell me what y'all think.
I can't click Oregon fast enough, and it may be biased. I just don't think South Carolina is very good. I don't think they've showed up in big games. I just don't think they're very good.
Yeah,
I think either way they lose next. I think either way.
Yeah.
If South Carolina did win, they're not beating Creighton in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think Texas Tech wins this one despite the hotness.
Yes.
Which you got a rebuttal against that. I just don't know that NC State is good. So, I know you can have a momentum run and whatever, but sometimes that momentum like dissipates a little bit, and then you realize that you're actually just NC State.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think part of their run too was kind of playing North Carolina in the ACC championship game, which is an added rivalry of being in state, and I think that plays a part in their run
and,
as well.
and a little bit of luck. Got lucky against Virginia.
Yeah,
They had to make a miracle shot.
yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, I think
I will
Texas.
also I will also add that I kind of like NC State. They have an old Tennessee transfer,
Big
DJ
old
Burns,
boy,
Yeah, yeah.
big man. And
He's so
seriously, if I can tune into that game, I will because he is so fun to watch.
yeah.
dude. Yeah, he's the problem for teams like Duke and Wisconsin and like a Samford that don't have a meaty big boy. If you don't have some size in the paint, you are not going to contain that guy.
He's a D tackle heading down the floor with the left.
Golly.
Now are we going Tech though?
Yeah.
I would say Tech.
Okay. 7-10 Washington State versus Drake. I immediately put Drake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Drake on that one too.
Washington State is not good.
Drake is good. I
Drake's
enjoy that play.
Dayton versus Nevada. I don't think Dayton is good. Can I say that? I don't think Dayton is a good team. I have to just say that. Every time I send Hank like a screenshot of Dayton losing to a bad team in the A10.
Yeah.
I know Dayton's just been so weird, and they're a top 25 team. They got Deron Holmes. I'm just not sure about Dayton.
Do you like Dayton, Keenan?
Transparently, I'm not sure I'm educated enough on their season to really make a comment. I will say, I just don't feel like they've really played anybody.
Yeah, I feel like Nevada's had to go through the gauntlet of Mountain West, and they've done well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it makes y'all, if it can, let's see here. 1 second. Yeah, in terms of Ken Palm, I don't know how much y'all weigh into that. I know I really enjoy it for efficiency specifically. They are
4
right now. Yeah, they're about 4 spots apart for a 7-10. So
yeah, it's a toss up.
I'm down to pick Nevada on that one.
I mean, I want to put Nevada. I don't like Dayton. I don't think they're good.
Point of reference, it's in Salt Lake City. I think that favors Nevada a lot
Yeah.
closer. I think that's a Nevada win.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like Texas here. I think these.
yeah.
I think if UVA wins, then Texas boat races them. I think if Colorado State wins, it'll be a close game, but I think Texas gets it. Sorry, I got to get that in about UVA. I hate UVA.
Yeah, UVA. I can't. That's so stupid.
And
They made.
go ahead and make a comment. They don't deserve to be in the tournament, and I feel really bad for teams that didn't get in because they put their sorry team in it. The committee should not have put UVA in.
I don't think they're going to win tonight. It's just going to be.
They'll I think they'll go ahead and lose by 20 tonight, and people will go, "Dang, we should have put in Seton Hall. We should have put in Indiana State." But
Oh man. All right, Texas it is.
Here's the deal. One quick thing. I heard that a first 4 team has advanced to the round of 32, like for the last like 10 seasons, except for one. I do think like Florida's so good, but I wonder if the hand locked and injury is going to mess them up, especially if they play Colorado and they have to play Tristan da Silva. He's huge, and I don't know that they'll be able to handle it. Florida's defense is terrible. They have great offense, but just based on analytics, you got to pick a 110 seed, and I think Boise State and Colorado are both better than Colorado State and UVA.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Florida is better than Texas. I just think without hand locked and it's different.
Yeah, the injury was hurtful. I think if Colorado wins, like you said, Graham, I think Colorado will beat Florida.
I think just based on data, we probably need to pick it, but I don't know which one. Okay, y'all go with that.
That one.
Yeah.
What else? Is it just the last little? Okay, 4 minutes for the 8-9s, which will be tough. FAU Northwestern.
I just think FAU is not an 8 seed. I think they got rated really high. And
I've heard Northwestern has some injuries.
Oh, I'm not educated on that. So
But,
I didn't know.
But with that being said, I want to see Bowie. Just
give me Boo.
Give him 30 and honestly get FAU out of there.
Yeah,
I think everybody wants the UConn FAU matchup, and because that they want that, they won't get it. And I think Northwestern is going to win.
I think so too.
Give me Northwestern.
All right, I'm SEC biased, so I need to hear Keenan just say a couple things about Michigan State.
Yeah, honestly, this is a really tough one for me, and I feel like I keep saying this. If Michigan State's playing about anybody, it's a pretty much it's an easy dub for me for Michigan State. I think Izzo is
Wait, playing
incredible.
about anybody? Is that what you said?
Playing against any other 8 seed.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm sorry. I mean, I think I said it. I think I said anybody, but
My
I
bad.
meant any other 8 seed besides Mississippi State. I think they're probably getting the dub.
Uh,
Um,
I don't want Hank to speak on it too much just because they specifically
can't,
are the kryptonite of Tennessee.
can't speak on it. They're the only SEC team Tennessee can't
Can,
beat, man.
can
Dang
I
it.
say this though about Michigan State? They should not be a 9. They should be
no,
like an 11 or a 12.
yeah, I agree
No,
with that.
sorry, probably like a 10 or an 11. But probably an 11. And so I don't know, man. They're not impressive, but also it's Izzo, but also Izzo loses sometimes. So
Yeah,
uh,
he does.
I know. Okay. Also, just want to add this. I know this doesn't necessarily always matter, but ESPN number 9 seeds have won 13 of 20 meetings with 8 seeds in the past 5 tournaments. How about that?
we just picked a
Yeah.
9, Northwestern. I mean,
I will say not to go back to Ken Palm, and we can't base everything. They're Ken Palm 18 for Michigan State, 30 for Mississippi State. Now that's not a massive jump, but it still
here's,
shows that Ken
here's the
Palm
thing
likes.
though. I feel like if Josh Hubbard doesn't go nuts, like Mississippi State probably just loses.
That's how I feel. Honestly, Mississippi State has been pretty average, except for they beat us. So I have a huge bias when I watch this. Um, Honestly, I'll let y'all pick this one because
I'm
I just don't
I'm
know.
I'm gonna pick Michigan State because I think I'm getting too SEC bias positively.
I kind of feel the same way.
I honestly that one feels like a toss up to me. I do think I'm voting Michigan State, but that really Mississippi State could come out and run them.
Yeah.
By the way,
Uh,
this one I do want to pick Utah State just because they actually dominated the Mountain West regular season title, and I feel like that goes a long way. Whereas TCU kind of hobbled into the tourney, but I know they're in the Big 12 though.
yeah, I'm kind of out on TCU. I don't know much about them.
You go with Utah State, Keenan, or not really?
Um, yeah, and I think I was leaning more towards TCU, but that might be Big 12 bias of just a gauntlet of a schedule. So yeah, I'm good
They
with
did beat
the
TCU did beat Houston.
yeah. I'm good with Utah State. That's fine.
Okay.
There's
And
value in only losing 6 games. It doesn't matter what conference you're in. That's tough.
here's the deal, man. All right, we have one more minute, and then we're gonna jump to the next rounds, and we'll go faster. I want it to be Nebraska,
Oh, I do
just
too.
because I want it to be the Tominaga show. With that being said, I don't think it will be, unfortunately.
I can't. Yeah,
I think I
I'm
think
big time SEC on this.
I think A&M will win. I want Nebraska to win. What do you think about that, Keenan?
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, to me, it just kind of feels like Nebraska is just some like nice little boys, and Texas A&M is
That's
just
how I feel.
They're gonna
like
drill Tominaga to the
I
ground.
mean they are coming out like all I can think about is the Texas or the Tennessee game at Texas A&M this year, and they were like some football players trying to hunt down some boys, and I just feel like that's the mindset that they're going to be in, and so I honestly think they'll boat race them.
All right, Fred Hoiberg, but Buzz Williams is gonna just lower the
Get your
shoulder.
son off the court.
But anyways, all right, that's the
Never.
first round. Beautiful. We'll be back and we'll hash out the rest.
Do it.
Sweet.